As people in the Carolinas prepare for Ian, it's important to take steps to reduce the impacts of home damage. Joining me today to discuss how a few last-minute actions can make a big difference is lead research meteorologist at the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, Dr. Ian Giammanco. Thanks so much for joining us here today. All right, so
Thank you for having me.
We do expect to see some strong winds from this storm that we're going to get here in South Carolina. What are some easy things we should be doing to the outside of our homes in order to reduce that damage?
Yeah, we are going to see enough wind that's going to knock those outdoor furniture items, those hanging baskets, those loose things that you may have out in your yard. We may see enough wind to knock those things over, knock them around. So it's a good idea. Make that walk around your home, pick up those things that you can easily move either inside or tuck them right up against your home. Some folks actually even ratchet strap those outdoor furniture items down. That's another good idea. Just make sure they don't go tumbling away. We saw that yesterday in parts of Florida, even that didn't experience the worst part of Ian. We saw that stuff happen. And so we may in South Carolina see winds that can do that. So it's a good time right now today to make that walk around your home. Bring in those loose outdoor items. Don't let them turn into flying debris that can damage your home or worse, your neighbor's home as well.
Now, what's really cool about your institute is you get to conduct research at your research center. You send us some of that video, and it is just incredible to see. So what are your key findings from that?
Yeah, we're one of the few places on the world we can turn the knobs on the weather. We don't often get to do that inside in a controlled environment, but we get to look at how a building itself performs, in this case, in high winds as we look in hurricanes. So, one of the things we see the most is the impact of shingles coming off buildings. So that's one of the most vulnerable spots. Another element of that is your garage door. And I'll use that as a tip. As Ian comes ashore in the Carolinas, make sure you keep that garage door shut. Keep the wind out. One of the most important things we've done over the years of all this work. It is so important to not give the wind a weak spot. Keep it out. Do not open those windows. You hear the old school advice, open the windows for pressurization. No, please don't do that. Keep everything as shut as you can. Do not give the wind a weak spot. Don't let it exploit it. So keep that whole building envelope intact. And then those things around the outside, you never know when some of those loose items can go flying, and it doesn't take a lot to break a window. And again, that lets the wind and water in and can really create some nasty damage inside your house.
Now, flooding is often an issue here. So do you have any tips to reduce the impacts of that water damage?
So first off, we're going to see a lot of water impacts. That is for sure. So the places that do flood regularly are going to flood again. So one, know if you're in an evacuation zone, know if you're in a storm surge zone, and please leave if your local emergency management tells you to do so. Next, we're going to see an awful lot of rainfall. So you have time today. If you think your gutters might be clogged and you can get up there and clean them out, do that, because it lets water flow away from your home. And then lastly, if you're worried about having to get around, have multiple ways to get out of your neighborhood. If you think you might run into high water or your area is prone to flooding, know multiple routes to leave. Water is the biggest killer in these storms, so please heed those warnings, especially as it comes with storms. So we are going to see coastal flooding for sure. We're going to see some big time rain impacts. So one, keep the water out. If you have a chance today and you think your gutters and things like that might be clogged up, or even your storm drains out in front of your house, give them a cleaning if you have time. Just help that water get away from your home.